When I was 15, my mother passed away. Cancer dragged on for 2 years, and in the last month she was so thin that she was reduced to a handful of bones. But every time I came home from school, she would sit up and smile at me. In the afternoon, when she left, she called me to the bedside, took out a red cloth bag from under the pillow, and stuffed it into the hands of my godmother, Jiang Yuhua. Aunt Yuhua is my mother's best friend who grew up together. We live in the same village, 3 alleys away. My mother held her hand and was out of breath. Sister Yuhua, this money is for Nian Nian. Save it for me when she grows up. I stood at the end of the bed and watched the red cloth bag being stuffed into my godmother's bag. My mother didn't tell me how much money was in it or what the money was used for. She just looked at me, and I still remember the look in her eyes, not reassured, but worried. She was too tired to say another word. At 11:17 that night, my mother left. After that, I moved into my godmother's house. People in the village said she was benevolent and righteous. Her sisters left, and she took her daughter into her own home to raise. The godmother herself said so, and she would tell everyone she met, Nian Nian is my biological daughter. If I have a bowl of porridge, she will have a mouthful of rice. I graduated from high school at the age of 17, but did not enter college. The godmother said, Nian Nian, you also know the conditions at home, and Lele still wants to marry a wife. Why don't you find a classmate first? Jiang Lei is my godmother's only son, 4 years older than me, and he works as an apprentice in an auto repair shop in the town. I nodded and went to the supermarket in town to apply for a cashier job. My salary is 3,200 yuan, and I rent a single room. The house rent is 600 yuan, and all water, electricity, food are deducted from my own salary. My godmother didn't ask me to pay living expenses, and I didn't take the initiative to ask for it. There is a tacit understanding between us. She doesn't ask me for money, but she doesn't spend a penny on me either. 5 years have passed like this. The day I turned 22, I came back from get off work, and my godmother was cooking in the kitchen, and the range hood was humming. I put the dishes I bought on the table, and when I passed behind her, her phone lit up. I caught a line of text from the corner of my eye. Tail number 3867, expenditure 2,000 yuan. 3,867. I stood there without moving. I recognized this tail number. The day my mother handed the red cloth bag to my godmother, I stood beside the hospital bed and saw a corner of the bank card exposed from the mouth of the bag, blue, with the tail number 3867. 5 years. Every year during Chinese New Year dinner, my godmother would mention, Nian Nian, I will help you save your mother's money on a regular basis, and the interest will not be touched. Don't worry. Her tone was light and airy, as if she was talking about something that had nothing to do with her. But what was written in the text message was expenses. I put down the food in my hand, without shaking my hands. The godmother looked back at me and said, Nian Nian, ask your brother to eat. Good. When I turned around, I remembered the time of the text message, 6:03 p.m. I had a normal dinner that night. Jiang Lei came down from upstairs, his slippers clattering, and he sat down and started eating. The godmother pushed the sweet and sour pork ribs towards him. Eat more. You've lost weight recently. The mortgage loan pressure is high, Jiang Lei said vaguely with his mouth stuffed with rice. The godmother's hand holding the vegetables paused. What's the rush? We'll talk about it at the end of the month. She glanced at me. Just one look. Soon, he lowered his head and continued eating. I wouldn't have thought too much about it before, but the text message just now, tail number 3867, payout 2,000, took root in my mind. Jiang Lei bought a 2-bedroom apartment in the county last year for a total price of 380,000 yuan. He works at an auto repair shop for more than 4,000 yuan a month and has a down payment of 114,000 yuan. What does he pay for it with? I didn't ask. After dinner, I washed the dishes in the kitchen while my godmother made a phone call in the living room. It wasn't loud, but I heard a sentence. That's enough. That's enough. I won't use it this month. You can bear it first. After hanging up the phone, she went into the kitchen and said with a smile, Nian Nian, I helped you transfer your mother's money to a financial product with a higher interest rate 2 days ago. Don't worry. I stacked the bowls, wiped my hands, and went upstairs. I went back to the room, closed the door, and sat by the bed without turning on the light. When my mother passed away, I never canceled her mobile phone number. The phone was still in my drawer, turned off for 5 years. I dug it out, found the charging cable, and plugged it in. The screen lights up. My heart was pounding, but I didn't look right away. I put my phone next to my pillow and lay staring at the ceiling for a long time. If my mother were alive, she would be 47 this year. During the last 2 months of her life, she was in so much pain that she couldn't sleep all night, but she never said a word of pain to me. She just asked me with a smile every day when I came back from school, how is school today? I never asked her how much money was in that red cloth bag. I was afraid that if the number was too small, I would cry. I went to work early the next morning. During my lunch break, I squatted in the supermarket warehouse and turned on my mother's mobile phone. The signal cannot be found, and the number is stopped. If you haven't paid for 5 years, it will be shut down long ago. After get off work, I went to the business office in town, paid 320, and restored my account. The teller said, it's good luck that this number has not been recycled. I stood at the door of the business hall, my mother's card inserted into my phone, and waited for about 10 seconds. Then the text message came. Not one, but hundreds. The phone keeps vibrating and buzzing. I leaned against the wall and watched the text messages pop up one by one on screen. Tail number 3867, expenditure 1,500 yuan. Tail number 3867. Expenditure 3,000 yuan. Tail number 3867. Expenditure 2,000 yuan. Tail number 3867. Expenditure 5,000 yuan. It's all expenses. None of them say deposit. I flipped through it from beginning to end, fingering it very slowly. The earliest one was the 3rd month after my mother passed away, and the payment was 1,000. Then every month there will be 1,000 less and 5,000 more. 5 years, 60 or 70 articles. None were deposited. I squatted at the door of the business hall and read through the hundreds of text messages 3 times. There was a date that stopped me. In September 3 years ago, I asked my godmother if I could use 3,000 yuan for my money to pay for college tuition. The godmother said, "If you save it regularly, it is not cost-effective to take it out. You can borrow it from your classmates first, or you can work for 2 months." I didn't go to school that month. And the text message record of that month, tail number 3867, expenditure 4,500 yuan. 4,005. 4,000 and 5,000 were taken away. My tuition fee is 3,000. I held the phone in my hand and squatted there without moving. People passing by glanced at me, but I didn't look up. After a long time, I stood up, wiped my face, and went home. When I got home, my godmother was choosing food at the door. "Are you back? You get off work early today?" Lele said he would take you to visit the county town this weekend. His new house has been decorated. Good. I went upstairs to my room and closed the door. I took photos of the text messages one by one and saved them in 3 copies. One on my phone, one sent to my email, and one to my best friend Xiaomin. Xiaomin is my colleague in the supermarket and a fellow villager. We grew up together. She called directly after receiving the photo. "Are you serious? Your godmother? Please help me count how many there are in total." She counted. 67. All expenses. Chung Nian, are you sure you're not mistaken? Help me add up everything. There was silence on the other end of the phone for a few minutes. Then Zhao Min's voice changed. 93,002. 93,000. I repeated. "What are you going to do?" "I'll check where the money went." "Do you want to go to the bank and make some money?" "Yeah, I'll think of a way." After hanging up the phone, I sat on the bed and read the text messages on my phone again. The date of the first expenditure was 3 months after my mother passed away. What was I doing at that time? I worked part-time in a supermarket, and my feet were so swollen that I couldn't take off my shoes. I bought a plastic basin to soak in hot water every night. What was godmother busy with during that time? She is helping Jiang Lei look at the house. At noon the next day, my aunt called me. My aunt's name is Cheng Wanji, my mother's biological sister. When my mother left, she asked her first. "Sister Nian Nian?" The aunt said at that time, "You also know the conditions of my family. My 2 sons want to marry wives." My mother said nothing and then turned to look for her godmother. In the past 5 years, my aunt has called her during the Chinese New Year and given her a 50 yuan red envelope on her birthday, but it's gone. I called unexpectedly today. "Nian Nian, I heard that you were checking your mother's card recently." My heart tightened. "Who told you?" "Your godmother called me and told me that something hasn't been right with you lately and you keep asking about money." "I'm just asking." "Nian Nian, let me tell you, Dash, the aunt's tone changed, that of a condescending educational tone. Your godmother has raised you for 5 years and you check other people's accounts? If your mother knew, how chilling it would be." I said nothing. "Your mother entrusted you to Yuhua back then. She was a trustworthy person. What do you mean by what you are doing now? You have to repay kindness in return. Do you understand?" "Aunt, listen to me. Even if there is any difference in the money, then your godmother's food and clothing expenses for the past 5 years are not money. You are a little girl. Don't think so bad of people." I held the phone and dug my nails into my palm. "Annie, are you finished?" "I'm doing this for your own good. Don't be ignorant of good and evil." "Feed me?" I smiled. "I paid my own rent when I was 18. The aunt was stunned for a second. Then in life, people also take care of you." "Auntie, I understand." I hung up the phone. Zhao Min sent a message. "What does your aunt mean?" "It means informing someone." "Then your godmother knows that you are checking?" "New. Completion." I originally planned to go to the bank tomorrow to collect money, but with this call from my aunt, my godmother will definitely take action. I charged my mom's phone and took screenshots of all the text messages and backed them up again. Then I thought about it, called the bank customer service, and asked my mother about the status of the card. The customer service said, "It's normal, nothing abnormal." Not moving yet. I have to be quick. I asked for leave early the next morning and took the earliest bus to the county seat. The bank opens at 9 o'clock and I arrived at 8:50. Got the number, queued up, and waited for 40 minutes. "Hello, I would like to check the details of a card. The last number is 3867. The teller typed on the keyboard a few times and looked up at me. "This card was reported lost and reissued yesterday." "What?" "Yesterday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the cardholder came to report the loss. A new card has been replaced." "Yesterday afternoon at 2 o'clock. My aunt called me at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. 1 hour. It only took godmother an hour." "Then can I check the transaction history of the original card?" "You're not the cardholder, so we can't check." "But it's my mother's money. The cardholder or a legal heir needs to bring relevant documents to apply. Have you brought them?" "I didn't bring it. I didn't bring anything. The household register, death certificate, and my ID card are all at my godmother's house." I stood at the counter. my mind buzzing. After leaving the bank and sitting on the steps, Xiaomin called over. How was it? The card was reported lost yesterday. Your aunt. What should we do? I have no idea. After sitting for a long time, I remembered something. Bank text message reminder. The text message was sent to my mother's mobile phone, and the owner of that number is my mother. I have my mom's number now. I don't need to go to the bank to make money. 67 text message reminders, each with date, time, and amount. This is running water. It's not the kind printed by the bank, but each one is issued by the bank system, with official numbers and transaction numbers. The godmother can report the loss of the card, but she doesn't know where the text message was sent. She thought my mother's account had been invalidated long ago. I stood up and put my phone in my pocket. On the way back in the car, Xiaomin sent another message. Qing Yan, I want to tell you something. I don't know whether I should say it or not. Explain. Last month, my mother went to your godmother's house to play mahjong. Your godmother showed off to her, saying that Jiang Lei's mortgage was about to be paid off, and she also said that she would be able to get the house ownership certificate next year. The mortgage is almost finished. Jiang Lei's monthly salary is more than 4,000 yuan, and his monthly mortgage payment is 3,000 yuan. With more than 1,000 yuan left, it is difficult to survive in the county town. Where did he get the money? It's almost finished. Xiaomin, thank you. What do you want to do? Check something. I didn't go back to my godmother's house directly. I went to the mobile business center and made a list of the text message records of my mother's number. I took screenshots of every text message. Then I did another thing. I made a table of the amounts of the 67 withdrawal text messages, arranged by month. I also found a message from Jiang Lei's WeChat moments when he moved last year. He had sent a photo of a receipt with a text. Finally, I have my own nest. The property name is on the receipt. I searched for that property on my mobile phone. The average price was 5,210 square meters, and the total price for a two-bedroom apartment of 73 square meters was 380,000 yuan. The down payment is 30%, 114,000. 114,000. The amount that was taken away from my mother's card was 93,000 too. The difference is 21,000. It is not difficult for Jiang Lei to save 20,000 yuan, but 114,000 yuan is impossible on his own. I stared at the two numbers for a long time, and then scrolled down again. After Jiang Lei bought the house, the withdrawals from the card continued. 2,000 to 3,000 per month is consistent with his monthly mortgage payment. My mother's life money, Jiang Lei's wedding room. I turned off the phone screen and sat on a chair at the bus stop. An old lady next to me asked me which stop I was going to, and I said the next stop. I got on the bus, didn't get off at the station, sat until the end, and then sat back again. There was just a picture in my mind after my mother explained those words. My godmother nodded and took the red bag with a steady hand. What she said at that time was, "Don't worry, leave Nian Nian to me." I believed it for 5 years. Now I don't believe it. I didn't go to my godmother right away. I need evidence of where the money was transferred. The text message only shows the withdrawal amount, but does not show to whom the money was transferred. I want to go to the bank to check the details and need the identity of the heir. The household register, death certificate, and my ID card are all at my godmother's house. I took advantage of my godmother to go shopping for groceries and rummaged through her cabinets. The household registration is there, and the death certificate is there. But when I turned to the second drawer, I saw something, a red cloth bag, the same one my mother used to hold her bank books. I open, empty. Even the bank book is gone. 5 years ago, this bag contained all the money my mother had saved. Now it was shriveled and stuffed under a pile of old clothes. I put the bag back and took the household registration book and death certificate. The next day, I went to the bank again. This time I brought materials. The teller checked for a long time. You are the legal heir, so you can check. But this card has been reported as lost and replaced, and the new cardholder needs to cooperate dash. I don't need a new card. I'm checking the history of the old card. The teller asked the supervisor for instructions and said it was okay, but he could only print the records before the loss was reported. I say enough is enough. 20 minutes later, I got a stack of paper. 5 years. Every withdrawal. There are transfer destinations at the back, all marked with the same account. The account name Jiang Lei. Every stroke. I folded the stack of paper and put it in my bag. After leaving the bank door, I stood for a while. It was very hot, and there were many people on the street. Jiang Lei is getting married next month. The invitations were sent out last week, and the godmother was so busy that she ordered banquets, bought cigarettes and wine, and hung red cloths. The invitation said dog son Jiang Lei and daughter-in-law Zhou Shui. The wedding was held at the village hotel with a table of 15. What the godmother told everyone was, "My son bought the house with his own money, so he's living up to expectations." My name was on the invitation, and the seating arrangements were at the head table. My godmother said to me, "Nian Nian, you are a member of the family and sit at the head table." Family members. Okay, then I'll sit at the main table. Chapter 2, Wedding. The wedding is 2 weeks away. I haven't looked up anything in the past 2 weeks. Go to work as usual, go home as usual, and eat as usual. My godmother tested me once. One night after dinner, she was sitting on the sofa peeling oranges and asked casually, "Nian Nian, your aunt said a while ago that you asked about money. Are you short of money?"
No.
Just ask. That's good. I'm keeping your mother's money until you get married. I smiled. My godmother also smiled and handed me half of the peeled orange. She was relieved, I could tell. When I went back to my room at night, I looked at the running water again. There is a page that I didn't look at carefully before, the first few transactions stored in the record. They were all saved by my mother. In the last 2 months, it was densely packed. 200, 300, 500, 200, 300. The dates are consecutive, almost one per day. The amount is not big, but the time of each transaction is 2:14 a.m., 3:07 a.m., 1:48 a.m., 4:22 a.m., 2:55 a.m. All in the latter part of the night. In the last 2 months, my mother had terminal cancer and was in so much pain that she couldn't sleep all night. She was reluctant to take the painkillers prescribed by the doctor. She said they were too expensive, and she kept them for me to study. When she couldn't sleep because of the pain, she got up and went to the ATM machine downstairs to deposit money. 200, 300, 500 stuffed into carry little by little. The last payment, 800 deposited at 3:41 a.m. She left 3 days later. I pressed the page to my face. The paper was thin and had numbers all over it. I didn't cry out, biting the corner of the quilt and curling up on the bed. After a long time, I folded the page and put it into my mother's red cloth bag. The empty bag finally contained something, not money, but evidence. From that moment on, I didn't hesitate. 3 days before the wedding, I told Xiaomin my plans. Xiaomin was silent for a long time. Are you sure? That's a wedding. I know. Everyone will be watching you. It is useful when everyone is watching. Xiaomin was silent for a while. What do you need me to do? No need. Just come. Good. The night before the wedding, I sat on the bed and sorted things out, printouts of the flow, printed screenshots of text messages, and the red cloth bag. I hesitated for a moment and remembered that September 3 years ago, I asked my godmother to borrow 3,000 yuan to pay for my tuition. My godmother said it was not cost-effective to withdraw it, so she withdrew 4,500 yuan that month. I didn't go to school that semester. I stood in the supermarket from morning to night. My feet were so swollen that I couldn't take off my shoes. The godmother bought Jiang Lei a new mobile phone that month. She said, "Your brother needs it for work." I don't hesitate anymore. On the wedding day, red balloons were hung at the entrance of the hotel and firecrackers were set off. The godmother wore a new maroon dress and stood at the door to greet guests. The smile on her face never stopped. "Come on, come and sit inside." Oh, it's so hard to come here from such a long distance. Almost everyone in the village came, and the 15 tables were packed. The aunt also came, wearing a green coat and carrying a red envelope. As soon as she entered the door, she shouted, "Oh, Yuhua, Jiang Lei has made a fortune. You bought a house and married a daughter-in-law. You are a lucky mother." The godmother smiled from ear to ear. "Wherever you go, Lei will do his best." I sat at the main table and ate peanuts quietly. Jiang Lei, wearing a suit with a flower pinned to his chest, led his new wife Zhou Shui in a toast. Zhou Shui is quite good-looking, with dimples when she smiles. When they arrived at the head table, the godmother stood up and took the microphone. "Dear relatives and friends, today is the day of great joy for my son Jiang Lei. It is not easy for me, a widow, to support my son." Someone applauded. Lei worked hard and made money to buy a house. As a mother, I didn't help much. She paused and glanced at me. "And we have Nian Nian. Nian Nian is my goddaughter. Her mother passed away early. I took her with me for 5 years, just like my biological daughter. Nian Nian, come here, stand up and let everyone see." I stood up. Everyone looked at me. I smiled a little. "Godmother." "Why?" "You just said that Jiang Lei bought the house with his own money." "Yes." Godmother smiled, not hearing anything wrong. "Then I want to ask, Jiang Lei's monthly salary is more than 4,000. How did he pay the down payment of 114,000? The hotel was quiet for a second. The godmother's smile froze. "Nian Nian, it's such a happy day. Why are you talking about this, Dash?" "I say this because, Dash, I took out the stack of bank statements from my bag. I know where the down payment comes from." I put the first page on the table. This is my mother's bank card history, ending in 3867. After my mother passed away, there were withdrawal records every month. The godmother's face changed. "Nian Nian. 5 years. 67 transactions. Each transaction was transferred to Jiang Lei's account." Jiang Lei didn't hold the wine glass in his hand, and the wine spilled on his suit. Zhou Shui stood nearby. The smile on her face had not completely faded away. She didn't know what happened. The aunt reacted first. "Nian Nian, what are you doing? What are you doing on this big day?" The godmother's face turned pale for a few seconds, but she held on. She has the ability to support the scene. "Nian Nian, your mother entrusted you to me, and I have raised you for 5 years. Food, drink, and housing are not money? Is that small amount of savings enough for me to support you?" She said it confidently. Several relatives around who didn't know what was going on hesitated, and someone whispered, "That's right. I have raised him for 5 years." The aunt immediately answered, "That's right. The whole family is settling the score. Your mother is watching from the sky. She won't be so stingy." The scene was frozen for 2 seconds, and Xiaomin looked at me nervously. "I'm not in a hurry." "Feed me?" I looked at my godmother. I started working in a supermarket when I was 18, with a salary of 3,200, rent of 600, water and electricity of 100, and I paid for my own food. "Godmother, have you spent a penny on me in the past 5 years?" The godmother opened her mouth. Then in life." "You mean life?" I turned over the second page. 3 years ago in September, I was 3,000 yuan short of college tuition. I asked you to borrow it, but you said it wasn't cost effective to take it out regularly, so you asked me to work to make up the money first. I pointed to a line of numbers. This is the withdrawal record for that month, 4,500 yuan, transferred to Jiang Lei's account. The whole place fell silent. The aunt's mouth finally closed. My tuition fee is 3,000. You said no, but that month you took 4,500. I took out the third thing, a screenshot of the text message on my phone that was enlarged and printed. Above is a withdrawal reminder time. Look at this time. I pointed to the line of words, 3:41 in the morning, deposited 800 yuan. This is not a withdrawal, this is a deposit. My mother deposited it. I looked at everyone. My mother had terminal cancer and was in so much pain that she couldn't sleep. She got up at 3 in the morning and went to the ATM to save money. 200, 300, one day at a time. She was undergoing chemotherapy when she was saving money. Did you know? I looked at my godmother. Godmother's lips trembled. Zhou Shui put down the flowers in her hand. Jiang Lei, you said you saved the down payment yourself. Jiang Lei opened his mouth. Shui, this matter dash. You told me you saved it yourself. Yes, mostly. Most of it is yours? I looked at him. There's a record of every transfer in the bank statement. The account name is Jiang Lei. The amount is equivalent to your monthly payment. You do the math yourself. Jiang Lei stopped talking. My godmother suddenly grabbed my arm. Nian Nian, you can't do this. Don't you know what kind of relationship your mother and I have? Back then your mother begged me to take care of you. Mom, please. I opened her hand. You said the whole family can't settle the accounts. Okay, then the whole village will help you do the accounting today. 5 years, 93,000. I have everything. I put the stack of running water on the table. Uncles and aunts, see for yourselves. Several people sitting nearby came over and flipped through 2 pages. Some people took a breath. This? Withdraw it every month? To pay off Jiang Lei's mortgage. The godmother stood there, her lips trembling so much that she couldn't say complete words. I'm just temporarily. No one listened to her. Zhou Shui put the bouquet on the table and picked up her bag. Jiang Lei chased after her and pulled her, but Zhou Shui shook off his hand. Don't touch me. She left. The restaurant was noisy, and everyone at the 15th table stood up. The aunt sat on the chair and said nothing. The relatives who had been talking to my godmother just now lowered their heads and pretended to look at their phones. An unknown old lady passed by my aunt and sighed. You don't care about your sister's child, but you help outsiders scold your niece. The aunt's face turned red, and she swallowed back what she wanted to say. I collected the running water on the table and put it into my bag, then took out the red cloth bag, empty, and placed it in front of my godmother. I'll give this back to you. The godmother looked at the bag. Her legs softened, and she sat on the chair. It was full when my mother gave it to you. I stood up. It's empty now, just like your conscience. I turned around and left. When walking out of the hotel, Xiaomin was waiting at the door on an electric scooter. Get in the car. I got in the back seat. She didn't say anything, and just rode away. The wind was strong, and I didn't look back. Xiaomin told me what happened next. Zhou Shui returned to her parents' home that day. Jiang Lei chased her to the door of her house, and was beaten out by her father with a broom. The two divorced a month later. Zhou Shui asked for a refund of the bride price, but Jiang Lei couldn't get it. The godmother pawned all the gold necklaces and rings to get half of it. Zhou Shui said she didn't want the remaining half, but asked Jiang Lei to send her the pile of running water photos on the wedding day. I have to let my parents know who your family is. Jiang Lei's mortgage payments were cut off, and he couldn't afford to pay it off on his own. 3 months later, the bank called for collection, and half a year later, the court enforced the law, and the house was repossessed. Jiang Lei moved back to the village from the county seat. The godmother's maroon red dress has never been worn again. She sits at the door of her house every day and pulls people when she sees her, saying, I didn't steal Nian Nian's money. I'm just making temporary changes. No one stopped to listen, and people passing by quickened their pace. Occasionally someone replied, Okay, Yuhua. The whole village has seen the flowing water. My aunt never called me again. I heard that she always walked away with her head down when meeting acquaintances in the village. Someone asked her face to face, Your niece's money was spent by others. How did you speak up for outsiders at that time? The aunt was speechless. Later, Xiaomin told me that her aunt would explain to everyone she met. I didn't know at the time. If I had known Dash, no one believed her. It didn't matter whether she knew it or not. She didn't speak when she should speak, and she blocked her niece's mouth when she shouldn't. The people in the village remembered this account for her. As for me, I moved out of my godmother's house. It was raining that day when Xiaomin came to pick me up. She tied a new quilt to the back seat of her electric car and said, You can stay at my place first. I said, I rent a single room without you. She said, Take that quilt. I took it. That month, I used my legal heir status to recover the money from my bank card. There are only 3,007 left in the card. 93 was taken away, and the process of getting it back took 2 months. The day the money arrived, I took half a day off and went to my mother's grave. The grass on the grave grew very tall, so I pulled it out for a while, and then put the red bag in front of the tombstone. It contained the last page of the bank statement. That page was full of deposit records in the early morning. 200, 300, 500, 200, 800. The last stroke, 3:41 a.m. Mom, I got the money back. The wind blew over, and the corners of the bag turned over. I squatted for a while without crying. I stood up, patted the dirt on my knees, and walked down the mountain. When I returned to the rental house in the evening, there was a bed, a cabinet, and a table covering an area of 12 square meters. On the table was the new quilt given by Zhao Min. I was sitting on the edge of the bed charging my mom's old mobile phone, and the screen came on. The wallpaper was a photo of me when I was 15, smiling with a ponytail. My mom saved this photo, without me knowing. It's like she was waking up at 3 in the morning to save money, when I didn't know it. She said nothing, but she did everything.